Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 486, recorded on July 11th, 2024. On this week's episode, we talk about Nintendo trying to scare us, more NSO games drop, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet still going strong. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Nintendo Dads, episode 486. It's July the 11th, 2024, and we're here to talk some Nintendo because if we didn't, it wouldn't be Nintendo Dads. It'd be Bakery Dads. We talked about donuts, pastries.
Near me. I got some donuts near me.
We maybe it could be accused of being Crumble Dads at some point.
Slurpee Dads.
We tried
today, you know.
Yes, Slurpee Day was today. We're definitely never ever going to be Sega Dads. That's
for Sega Moms.
I was gonna say that spot is reserved for our alternate reality podcast, Sega Moms.
Yes.
But yeah, joining us on the show tonight, Mr. Timothy Off, Mr. Jesse Waldack, and myself, Marty S. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It was nice having July 4th off, and I had a few days off from work too, and I got some things done, like adding the new posters to my wall. So I'm excited about those. But yeah, it's been good. How about you, Marty?
It's been great. Had a great week last week with my students at camp. We enjoyed a good trip. Stopped at Buc-ee's on the way home, which is always good. We got 28 students and adults in and out of Buc-ee's in less than an hour, and I spent less than $50. So
you're gonna have to share a how-to video on how you did that.
That's probably more impressive.
But yeah, so and then Monday and Tuesday of this week, my wife and I and a couple that we're friends with went on an epic road trip that I will talk about later on in the show. So life is good. I'm just really tired right now because of said road trip. How about you, Tim?
I bet.
How are you?
I'm good.
I mean, your posters look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
They look really good.
Thank you. I had fun putting those. They're my favorites. These are ones I could not hang up because I had no place to hang them up at. So I finally got a place.
I'm going to go full screen for a bit because the OBS only is showing a sliver of you. So going full screen, they'll be able to see a wider shot.
Oh, okay. Nice.
There. Now they can see the red and watery one.
Yep, that's Kratos. That's God of War.
It took me a minute when I first saw it. So
I see it now. I didn't know what it was until you said it.
There's a lot going on there.
There is.
That's Magic the Gathering, one of my first favorite cards I have there. And then of course Smash Brothers here. And then Samus in this one, and Metroid in the other. So it's all good stuff.
Awesome.
Ooh, I like the view. I can see it now.
Yeah.
Of course there's the belt too.
Yeah. Can't forget about the belt.
Can't forget about that.
Jesse, how are you, man?
Doing pretty good. This week was our PI planning for figuring out what we're supposed to be doing for the next quarter. It is normally a 2-day thing, but this time was a 3-day thing, and those calls just are grueling, and I'm glad it's over.
I completely understand because I typically plan a year out for my job too. So, like, those are some long days, but it's worth it when you don't have to throw stuff together last minute.
Yeah. Well, we used to have to do fly out and do face-to-face meetings to do this, so we haven't had to do that since 2020. And now there's no travel budget.
As you do.
So
yeah.
So everything's remote, which is fine by me.
They reallocated that to something else.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Corporate bidets or something like that in the home office. I don't know. But speaking of last minute, we've got news that just happened, and we're going to dive straight into our news right now. And of course, our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/NintendoDads, where for as little as $1 a month, you get to be part of the greatest community on the internet. No lie, no joke. It is the greatest community. We have self-awarded ourselves that, like 7
No
years
cap?
running. No cap. That's right. As the youths would say, no cap. And we want to say a huge shout out to our newest patron, Ryan Casey, for joining up over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. $1 gets you in the door, allows you into the Discord. $5 gets you the whole sub channel slate. $10 pre and post show audio, and $30 Patreon producer level. You get to be on the show. You get to come hang out with us, and you get our eternal undying thanks. You get that at every level. But the biggest perk is ad-free episodes. Ad-free. There's an ad-free feed over there for everyone who's a member of patreon.com/NintendoDads. You get 0 ads, and you get to make the world a better place. We want to say a huge thanks to you. You help us. Your support on Patreon helps us create more content, helps us be able to purchase things that we need, recording equipment, games, systems, things like that. And it generally just makes the world a better place. So it's proven, scientifically proven, it makes the world a better place. So head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads and join up right now. Right now.
For science.
Yes, right. It's right now. So, hey, let's dive into the news. Here we go. Right before we got started, Nintendo just announced 3 new NSO games that are now available for Game Boy Advance. 3 classic games featuring Starfy, the Prince of Puff Top, are now available to play on Game Boy Advance. Densetsu no Starfy 1, 2, and 3 are now available. These are action games in the vein of Kirby. And we have actually only had one Starfy game come across this to America so far, and I want to say that was a DS game.
That was Starfy 4 on the DS was the only one we had in North America.
So if you played that and wondered what in the crap was going on, then now you can play the first 3 and find out. They're available right now. I don't
play with the Google Translate app because it's all in Japanese.
Yep, it's all in Japanese. This is weird. Like, are we really completely out of? Are we really completely out of Game Boy Advance games already?
Hope not.
I mean, we haven't seen I know Nintendo has released games before that have been remade, like Link's Awakening. But I wonder, are we going to get Advance Wars? Are we going to get Mario Party Game Boy Advance?
I want Drill Dozer.
Drill Dozer. I mean, Golden Sun's on there now, so we can't. Metroid Zero Mission's on there, so we can't really complain about that. I guess we are kind of running out of games for it. The Sonic Advance games would be nice.
I wonder if they would do that.
I mean, I don't know.
Get on the phone, Saga.
Yeah.
Give Nintendo permission.
I guess really the only thing that's left is Mother 3 and the Pokemon games, which both are apparently never happening. So there you go.
Yeah.
And hey, here's what they can do: Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I'm like, no, that's already on there, isn't it?
No,
there is a Mario and Luigi game on there already.
Well, then it's Superstar Saga because that's the only one that was on GBA.
Yep. Yeah. So it's already there.
The rest were on DS or above.
So there you go. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, they could do that. Grand Theft Auto Advance, that would be interesting. But anyway, they are kind of starting to scrape the bottom there, which is why we're getting games in Japanese. But yeah, so go enjoy games you can't understand. Jesse, the way you said that about Google Translate makes me think that you have a little bit more knowledge about these games than I do.
No, but I have no idea. I've never played these games, but I have used Google Translate playing Japanese games before. Like if you look back when, say, Persona 5 Strikers had a Japanese demo about a year before we had the game launch, and I think I played the demo Japanese with the translating a lot of the text, and then I played the North American ones, and I made the same jokes, and I didn't realize it until I went back and re-listened to the Japanese ones. I'm like, yeah, I said the same thing twice.
Nice. So those are available right now. Also, the very excellent Metroid Zero mission is also available if you've not played that yet.
Yes.
You need to check that out over there. It's really, guys, seriously, you can do it in about 3 hours, and it's
You can play
totally
that and
worth it.
Fusion.
It's one of the best Metroid games of all time. Nintendo has also dropped a cryptic trailer this week for, or that it's just called "Who is Emio?" This was the hashtag that was given when they advertised the video. It was also in the video. This kind of creepy video shows a person in a trench coat with a smiling paper bag over their head. And then this came out. Emio Nintendo horror teaser is rated MA 15 plus, restricted 13 in Australia for strong themes, violence, suicide references, and themes, cruelty, and domestic abuse.
And it's rated them in North America.
Yes. People do believe that this game is the Bloober Team game that was called Project M that they were working on. According to Babieno, Project M was going to make its way to Nintendo fans at some point. Bloober Team is famous for working on The Medium, Layers of Fear, and Blair Witch. What say you guys? I want no part of this game. Nope. I don't. Nope.
I'm definitely curious of what it is. So,
Mecca says Bloober Team's involvement has been debunked, but I don't care about this game. I don't care about Bloober Team. This whole topic is a nope for me.
When that trailer first launched, and I just saw the tweet, like the notification pop up on my phone, it just said, "Who is Emio?" I was like, "Is this the Nintendo Switch 2?" I mean, that was like the first thing. I was like, "What is going on?" But Nintendo, I will say
that video is a whole 15 seconds, and it ends with kanji that just says "smiling man." I'm like, okay, that doesn't help. What is this?
Yeah. Maybe that's
got everybody talking for sure.
Maybe that's what the name of the game is going to be. Smiling Man. Who knows? I do think I will not play this because I don't do scary games. I'm still hesitating on I'm still hesitating on finishing The Last of Us Part 1. Because I just I just can't take the tension. I can't do it. But I want to say this. I think this is great for people who like that type of thing, right? Like the Nintendo trying a new IP. I like it.
Victoria said in the chat, says Luigi's Mansion 4 is going to be dark.
Exactly.
You know, Luigi getting stalked through a mansion by a ghost that's like the whatchamacallit guy in what's his name? Nemesis in Resident Evil 3.
Oh yeah.
I'd be there for that. I would play that. And maybe it's just because I've gotten the Luigi's Mansion on the brain right now. But
yeah.
I want to see more. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to play it, but I'm happy for people that this would appeal to.
Agreed.
I'm definitely
I'm okay with games not being for me. Y'all know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to learning more about it too, because I mean, there's not much more we can go by. Obviously, we have no idea what kind of game this is going to be, other than it's probably going to be a creepy game. But I'm looking forward to learning more on exactly what kind of thriller this is going to be, and Nintendo is supporting it. It's going to be interesting. So
the fact that it's already rated in multiple regions, this thing's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Maybe this is that August slot that didn't get filled.
Ooh, that But you might like. I would think. Why? What is in the October spot? It's not a. It's not a spooky game. So
Mm,
why
I
not
can.
swap that and the spooky game?
Well,
That
usually
would
the
make
scary
sense.
games they try to release sooner, I thought, so that there's time to build up, like in September at least.
Yeah. Mario Party Jamboree is their October game.
Just put that in August. I
And
mean,
Fantasy Life I.
oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And
So,
Romancing Saga 2 and Sonic X Shadow.
Lee, yeah, that's a
And
lot.
Ys 10. But
Well, yeah, but those are niche. That to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Here's some more news bits. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 4-part series of seasonal events begins today as we record this at 5 p.m. Pacific. Throughout the season, you'll encounter Terra Pokemon with the mightiest mark, Pokemon that don't normally appear during regular gameplay, and mass outbreaks. Starting 7/11, that's today, Pikachu with the mightiest mark will appear in Black Crystal Terra raid battles throughout Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Mass outbreaks will feature Pikachu and friends. Paldea will have Pichu. Kitakami will have Pikachu and Mimikyu. And Blueberry Academy will have Raichu and Alolan Raichu. Then on the 25th of this month, you'll be able to get Dondozo with the mightiest mark. They'll be in Terra raid battles with Black Crystals. And the mass outbreak will be Tatsugiri, Paldea Curly from Curly form Tatsugiri. Kitakami will have droopy form Tatsugiri, and Blueberry Academy will have stretchy form Tatsugiri. That all sounds like diseases. I'm sorry, you've got curly form Tatsugiri.
aw.
You're gonna have some antibiotics and an antifungal.
Again?
Anyway, yeah. They're really supporting this game. Like they've really leaned into the fact that it's terrible and they're going to keep content for it coming without fixing it. I appreciate that dedication.
Well, there was, although it may have been terrible graphically, I think there was enough fun to be had in it and story to be had in it to keep people playing in it, from what I understand.
Okay. Anyway, I don't care. I don't
Yep.
think Jesse does either because he has no comment on it.
No.
He didn't like
No,
the raids.
I never
Are you
liked the
done with-
raids.
Are you done
Oh,
with
I-
Scarlet Violet?
Oh, I haven't touched the game since I rolled credits. That was,
Okay.
I put 90 to 100 hours into that thing, but, I never bought the DLC, never went back for the raids.
Gotcha.
Okay. I wrapped up what I wanted to wrap up.
There you go. Also, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is part of the NSO game trial right now. From the 8th, which is already happening, to the 14th, that's just about 3 days from now. You can download and try Mario Rabbids plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope at no cost. Also, there is an additional sale going on where you can get the gold edition of the game for 67% off. And that does include all of the DLC, which includes the Rayman DLC as well. If you would like to play that sale ends when the trial ends at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on July 14th. So if you've been waiting for that game to go on sale, if you think you might be interested in it, it's a great way to try this game. It does have some really nice visuals and the gameplay is tight and plays well. Just didn't grab me. So
it is weird that the sale's ending when the trial ends. They normally push up to a week past it. So I don't know what's going on there.
They're moving on. They're just, it's done. They gotta make way to promote. All the socials have to be promoting Nintendo World Championships.
Yep. Well, and they put out like 4.5-minute video earlier today about it.
Yep. Yeah. So you can go check that out. It outlines some new modes for that. And also, speaking of releases, right now the Nintendo Switch Lite Zelda Edition is available for pre-order as of this evening. And so if you're wanting to get that golden Nintendo Switch Lite, it was up on Best Buy earlier, and I believe it's also available on other retailers. But I got to talk about something with this. Y'all, it is a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $209.99. making it $10 more expensive than all the other Nintendo Switch Lites. It's the first time a special edition Nintendo Switch Lite has been more expensive than the others. Why? Why is there a Zelda tax?
Yeah, it started with Tears of the Kingdom when the game was $70.
Yep.
I think we're going to start seeing more of this.
Do you think Echoes of Wisdom is going to be $69.99?
No, that's still going to be $60. I'm pretty sure that's already marked as $60. I can verify that. That's up for pre-order.
I just think it's kind of, I don't know. They have the right to charge whatever they want. I have the right to not like it.
Yep,
that's fair.
And if you're out there and you're watching and you're wondering, did Marty pre-order this? Yes, I did.
Yeah. Echoes of Wisdom is 60.
Yeah, Echoes. Okay, so Reed Dillard in the chat has mentioned that it is bundled with the Nintendo Switch Online subscription and the expansion. So that might be why it's $10.
That I would buy. That's not the right words I want to use. I am not buying this, but I understand the extra $10 because of that.
Yeah. So if I get a code in that, can I stack that up?
Yes.
Well, if you're currently on a family plan, no, because the code is likely individual.
It has to
you can only use it. You can only use it if you're already on an individual or not subscribed at all.
Well, hey, here's what we'll do. We'll give
it away.
We'll give that code away this year during Extra Life.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. All right. So that is up now. It may already be out of stock. Your mileage may vary, but it went up for pre-order tonight. Wario64 said it was up for pre-order at Best Buy tonight at just like 5 till 6 Central Time. And as of 10 till 8, it was still available. So
I like what Beer said. He said he'll slap a Zelda sticker on his Switch and sell it to you for $275.
Nice. That's capitalism.
There you go.
Other releases and updates we want to make note of. Out now, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown Deluxe Edition. Out soon, Saturn DX, which comes out July 18th. There is a Let's Play video that is now available on our YouTube channel. Also, next Thursday, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition will be released. Remember, that is digital for $30, and it is physical for $60. Earlier, I noticed that my Walmart already has spots for that. So I feel like that collector's edition is probably going to be somewhat easy to find. Maybe not. We'll check back and we'll report on that next week. Also out later, Trinity Fusion will be out on August 1st. TMNT Mutants Unleashed was announced today. That will be out on October 18th. Ease 10 or Ease X. Is it 10?
10.
It's 10. Ease 10 Nordics will be.
Yep, it is the game after Ease 9.
On October 20th. I just love the title of this, Ease Nordics. It sounds like exercise equipment. Ease Nordic Track. Ease Memoir will also be out early 2025. That's called The Oath in Felghana. And out of nowhere.
I think that's a new remake of an older game, but I don't know which one.
Out of nowhere, Arrow the Acrobat is getting ported to modern consoles in August, including the Nintendo Switch. So
game of the year.
Game of the year. It's y'all. Have you ever played Arrow the Acrobat?
I have not.
It actually looks fun, but I have heard I've never played it. I always skipped it at rental, but I've heard it is super duper difficult. Like it's one of those very frustratingly.
Oh, it's a Souls-like game, huh?
So we'll probably have it'll probably have some kind of rewind function or
Arrow
something.
the Acrobat Souls-like game.
No. Well, guys, that's our news this week. Let's pause for a quick update from our friends at Manscaped.
Well, we don't have any ads for Manscaped right now, but we can certainly talk about those products because we use them around here. And I know a lot of people out there use them because they use our code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off at manscaped.com to get various products like shampoos and body washes and beard washes. They also have beard oils, which I have, and some beard conditioners. And then, of course, they have trimmers where you get the lawnmower 5.0, I think it's at now, right? And the hedger. And then you can get all of those nice things in a travel bag if you buy their shed, which a lot of us got here too, where you can load those up and travel with it.
I have two of them.
Yeah, exactly. And they come in gifts usually, gift sets that you can get, or pro sets like they like to call them. They have those little newspaper things, so you can help catch some of your trimmings if you need to. So I think it's great.
You got to catch the trimmings.
Right? You got to catch those trimmings. So there's a lot of products. Oh, there's nose trimmers. There's classic trimmers, shavers, shaving cream, shaving gel, deodorants, chapstick.
There is the necessary crop preserver that you need during the summer to keep everything moving.
We talk about that all the time, especially because that's, as you get older, you need those things.
Then with that subscription plan that they have, for replacement razors or just replacement of anything, I noticed that my large bottle of shampoo, conditioner, and the large bottle of body wash is running low. So I was able to just add a set of each to that recurring order as a one-time addition, and they sent it out to me.
And that's what I love is the subscription part, because I don't have to worry about, anybody forgetting my stuff for the shower when they go to the store. And it usually comes right on time because I finally figured out when I need to replace that. So I get it at a recurring time when necessary. So again, we all get that through manscaped.com using NINDADS, NINDADS, as a code to get 20% off the orders, and that includes the subscriptions. So, and they even sell underwear too still, right? Because I know I still have a couple pairs of those. So, but again, that's manscaped.com, and that's using NINDADS for 20% off. Back to you guys.
All right, it is time for our question of the week. Tim provided our question of the week this week. Big props to Tim for taking care of our weekly update this week as I was incapacitated and coming up with our question.
Got your back, dude.
The question is Nintendo Switch Online enough? Is it enough for you? Is it enough for your family? Why or why not? And if not, what's missing, if anything? And we got several responses from our community that we'll share with you right now before we share ours. Darth Platypus says, NSO is good, but it's a bit of a pain that even though I have a family membership, only one person can be on it at a time. I would say that more games would be good, but I'm not always great at playing what's already on there. So
not sure what he means by that.
Yeah, he's got to be doing something wrong.
Because I can go online and my son can go online at the same time with different games we've purchased. If he's trying to play the same game twice, that you can't do that. But if you have two different copies of the game or playing two different games, that's fine.
If you have a family membership, that means your whole family can get on there, but it has to mean they have to have their own account to do that. They can't be trying to use your account, because then why get the family plan when you can just get one?
Right.
If they're all
that might be worth a call to Nintendo to see if they can help you sort something out there.
Or Darth, we need to have a discussion in Discord about that.
Yeah.
So I'm using most. I think I'm using 7 of my 8 slots. I have my son, the 2 daughters, and then I have 4 accounts of my own, each on are on the family plan, so I can log into any of those accounts and have access.
There you go.
I have
Nice.
North American, European, Australian, and Japanese.
Hoot says base NSO is an absolute steal. Just compare it to the competition. NSO at $35 a year for 8 people is less than $5 a person. PS Plus Essential is $80 a year for one person, and Game Pass Core is soon to be $75 a year for one person. These are the prices you need for basic online play, by the way. You can even compare the NSO Plus expansion to the competitors' baselines and still come out way on top. And he is right about that. Nintendo's is a steal of a deal when you've got Game Pass Ultimate now at like $175 a year or something like that. It's crazy how much that's getting ready to cost. PlayStation's up there too. I'm dropping Game Pass. I can't do it. I can't pay for all 3 of those every year.
Right.
Lunchbox, also known as the Disgruntled Gamer, says NSO is just not for me these days. I haven't turned my Switch on since November. I'm not interested in anything there, to be honest. I recently got a Steam Deck, and that is what I play on the daily. I also play on Xbox to jump in to Halo Infinite and play the latest Game Pass games. That's all I need.
That's all I need.
Look, that's a different perspective. That's great.
Yes, it is.
Zablanc says,
sorry, all I could think of is the Steve Martin movie. I think it's The Jerk.
oh, I love that movie.
Where he's just like,
So bad.
he's walking out of a house and he's like, this is all I need. And then he grabs something else. This is all I need. This and the toilet seat and the
Zablanc says NSO is fine, but for a paid service, it lacks excitement. I liked it when Nintendo was adding DLC passes to it, but they've all but stopped. They've stopped with Genesis titles. Month to month, I don't know what to expect, and even when they release old retro games on it, nothing gets me excited. But it's cheap.
You're not interested in Starfy?
It's cheap, and I can.
Starfy didn't drop when he answered this question.
True. I mean, he may be really excited about Starfy. Who knows? It's cheap, and I can whoop Drew in ice hockey ever so often, so it's probably worth it. Downside, Nintendo's online sucks. David Bileka says, I think NSO is okay. 3 out of 5 knee slaps. LOL, but would love for the service to get more Nintendo-y with more unique titles like Mario 35, Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99, more game trials and demos, throw a street pass like NSO exclusive service, and maybe run contests and tournaments via the service. I think these would be some good ideas for them to grow the service and add more value. And wrapping up your comments, Spider Shan says, NSO is perfect for my needs. I actually think the access to old games draws me to it, even more than online play, to be honest. Access to some DLC is icing on the cake. So what say you guys? Is NSO...
First of all, people are, you said it in the chat complaining about the Game Pass prices when it going up, PS5 prices going up. I won't be surprised if NSO goes up with the Switch 2 launch. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, for sure. But even still, like, even if it goes up to say $50, it's still for a family plan, I should say. $50 for a family plan might still be pretty cheap.
Yeah. So I think, again, as I said, I'm doing the family plan. I think the Plus expansion pack is still too much. Though I've paid it since it launched, just because I need access to the content for content. But I don't do online much. My son does, so at least someone's getting benefit of that. I do like the cloud saves. I've had to re-download a game that I haven't played in years, and then I still have a save state. Let's download that with it, and everything's still there. So I'm okay with that. And then, like, the new games that they add, most of them are kind of crap. But, Zero Mission was awesome. I love playing through that game again. And so if they put games out that I want to play, I'll play them. If they put games out that I don't, I'll skip them. But unfortunately, there's been more skips than plays. But so overall, NSO's doing what I need it to do. Can't think of anything new other than just giving me more of, I see what you're giving me. I'd like more, but I can't pinpoint anything specific. Just more games, more systems. I do like, Mario 35 like games. I like to see more experimentation with that, but that's not a killer for me. But overall, I'm satisfied with what I've got.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm pretty satisfied with it too, and what my family has been able to get out of it. And it may change over time, to where it's just me doing it. That's fine. But as I think maybe that's what they might have to do, is eventually those families may not need all of those, and maybe they should have like a two-person deal. So like, if it's just me and my wife using it, then I can pay that price. But I think for the cost of being able to play games online and have the opportunity to do those things, plus the backups that I'm able to get online, and then the occasional games and NSO that I am like get excited for, I think that is worth the money for me. So I'm happy to pay that, which I have been.
Yeah, it's fine with me too. I do like that if my kids want to play DLC for a title, I don't have to buy an extra copy of DLC for them if it's offered through the NS through the expansion pass, right? Like we only had to do one copy of the Mario Kart DLC. So or well, I didn't even really, I mean, was that out before they added it to?
I think it was
I
a
think
day
it
one
was.
ad.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I mean, we didn't pay. I didn't pay for that at all. The Happy Home
I think,
Designer
yeah,
or
I think
whatever.
when expansion patch was announced, they said Mario Kart 8 will be included.
Yeah. The only one that I had already bought that they ended up adding was the Splatoon 2, the Octo expansion. So
Yeah.
I'd already had that.
They need to
But
do more for those
I
type
mean,
of
yeah,
things.
I would like. I think they need to do that more. To really lock that value in. Where it's really going to be tested is when the move from Switch 1 to Switch 2 happens. That please, Nintendo, if you're listening to this, do not lock all of these games back up. That would be so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, if I can play every Mario title that's available on NSO today, I should be able to do it day one on Switch 2. Otherwise, the value is not going to be there. It's like, oh crap, they're going to do a staggered release all over again. You know, I do think that there's been some really interesting surprises with it as far as older games,
Hmm.
like games that I never thought would come to it. But the value of it
Like Urban
compared to,
Champion.
well, that, and I'm just talking about some of the older games like from different companies and things, like I didn't think we'd get all those Mega Man Game Boy games, uh Metroid Zero Mission, stuff like that. The problem is that Virtual Console had so many more offerings as far as actual consoles. So TurboGrafx, 16, Neo Geo, different things like that.
I
Those
think yeah, I
still
think we
waiting.
even have like Commodore 64 games.
It may have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that there's huge gaps there that I would like to see filled. I don't think that they filled that up as fast as they could have in the lifespan of the Switch. To be here 7 years in and only have NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, which just like within the last year, right? Genesis, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy. I mean, I know it's hard. Emulation's hard or whatever, I guess, but not really. I mean, they got all those other games working on the Wii and the Wii U.
I
So
think I think it would be cool if I agree. I hope they don't lock it back up. That would be that thought didn't even cross my mind until you mentioned it, and that's scary. Because I don't think that would be a good look on them to do that. It was like here's all the games that you had access to. Now we're gonna lock it all back up and re-release it later. No, that doesn't make sense.
Or you
What I
didn't
think-
trade in your Switch to
and-
buy the Switch successor, did
and-
you? Ha ha
Right.
ha.
Yeah. And what I was going to say, what if you keep your Switch, but
Yeah.
you've migrated your account over? Well, now you can't, like, can you play it on your old one, or can you?
What would be nice is if when the Switch 2 comes out, if you get a Switch 2, they're like, oh, hey, you got a Switch 2 and you're on NSO. Expansion Pass is now part of regular NSO, and Switch 2 Expansion Pass will be this new thing.
Super NSO.
Yes.
Now you're really playing with power.
There you go.
And then
For the
and then
Super
they'll do a,
Nintendo Switch.
and then they'll do the price bump there, so the base price
Yes.
of NSO becomes the new base price to make room for the third new tier.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's just
Thank you.
just as long as they keep the tiers minimal, don't do what Xbox is doing. They have like 7 different tiers, and
It's
a cluster.
that is super confusing. It is absolutely a cluster, and I believe that you will see them roll back that within 30 days.
Well, I was
Not
saying
the pricing, but the different tiers and stuff, they will
Yeah.
have to clean that up.
Well, I was saying I wasn't necessarily saying that the current expansion wouldn't be tier 2 anymore. I was saying the current expansion would be added to the regular NSO. It would be
Yeah.
part of regular NSO,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
a new
yeah.
tier 2
Yeah,
expansion pack would be
that's
available.
that's what
Okay.
that's how I
Okay.
understood. But
Okay.
what is now 2 tiers becomes 1, and then the new tier will be still a
Yes.
2-tier system, but
Okay.
it's a new tier to do new things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be fine.
Well, the only thing I know is that if it costs more, there will definitely be some tiers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Haha.
Tiers of the NSO.
Yes,
Uh,
tiers of the
well,
NSO.
That's all for that segment this week. Let's take a quick timeout. All right, Tim. Let's go to you first.
All right, so have you guys heard of Loungefly?
Yes, my daughter has 2.
I have not.
You have not? Okay, so their Loungefly makes these really awesome, pop culture bags, right? So, and there's some really cool ones that even I have eyeballed, because they look pretty cool. And I'm trying to find one of them right now, one of these things here, but essentially, where'd it go? My daughter, because I've been eyeballing one of my favorite scenes in a movie, Lord of the Rings, when Gandalf is holding the staff and he says, "You shall not pass," to the giant Balrog, right? So they made a bag with it, and I was like, oh, that's freaking sweet. And my daughter decided to get it for me for my birthday. So
Nice.
that's what I got, is the
Oh,
Balrog
dude,
bag.
that does look sweet. Great art
Oh.
on that.
Yeah. And it lights up too. And I was trying to find the switch for it so I could show you what it looks like. Oh, there it is. So, but yeah, it lights up too. And it was like, when I saw it, and we saw it in the store, there's a store called Box Lunch. I don't know if you guys have one of those in your area too. But they sell a lot of these Loungefly bags. And I think GameStop sells these now too. The Loungefly.
Of course
bags,
they do,
but
because they can't sell games anymore.
there, it's now lit up. So that's Gandalf holding the staff,
cool.
and it lights up right there.
Does
And then-
is there a line on it that lights up too?
Yeah, and this is the whip. The whip is
Oh, that's
lit up.
kind of cool.
So
My daughter just has a Peter Pan one and a Harry Potter one.
yep, they all look really cool. I mean,
That doesn't do anything, so
they
just
don't
holds-
have to though. Some of them look, the art
it
on
holds
them
a
just
it
look
holds
really
a
cool.
minimal amount of stuff.
Yeah, it does. Just the right amount. But I like the art on them, and they have all kinds of cool designs. And I said I wouldn't get one because I would probably start collecting them and hang them on my wall too. But she got me this one,
along with your hats.
yeah, along with my hats. That'd be cool.
Reed Dillard says, "I can hear your
matching
backpack."
hats. Yeah,
You
exactly.
shall not
That
pass.
was very cool.
Anyway, that is cool. That's I like that. Great design.
It is.
Jesse, what about you? Your timeout.
All right, I had a few things I wanted to talk about. I hinted at it a few weeks ago when I was expecting a package, but it didn't come in yet. I got a package from Atari for things I ordered earlier this year. First being this controller. It's about the size of an NES controller, a little smaller. It's taller, but narrower. And it's got a D-pad that actually has a little screw thing, so I can put on a small joystick if I want, and it comes with two buttons. And this is compatible with 2600 games with the use of one button, and it's designed for 7200, 7600, 7800. I forget the number. Some of those games do support two buttons. So I was tried some Pitfall 2 with this, and it does feel nice, but I still was getting lousy. Had a hard time jumping over the Scorpion for some reason. I need more practice on that. But with the order, they had multiple 7800 games reprinted. So I got Food Fight, Fatal Run, and Ninja Golf, which I've never played this game. I've never played this game before, but I've heard people say this is probably one of the best 7800 games that's out there.
Very cool.
So these are still in wrapping. I haven't opened them yet, but these will be compatible with my 2600 plus, so I can play whenever I want to try to play
5200 games on it?
I cannot.
Oh, doggone it.
Victoria says, "Excuse me, Ninja Golf? Does that mean you're familiar with it?" I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, so in addition to talking about Atari, I wanted to talk about about the Japan eShop experience I had. So, I have never hidden the fact that I've purchased the voucher program games from the Japan eShop at a discount because of how the yen versus the dollar conversion rates. Like the last two times I did it, it was around $85 to $90 instead of the $100 or $110 if you include tax. But this time around, including the taxes and the fee that I get for to pay to play Asia, the yen is even worse. So I was able to buy a set of vouchers. I think it's 9,980 yen for $71. So with that, I was able to pre-order Echoes of Wisdom and Brothership.
Nice.
Good deal.
Those two games for $71.
I should do that.
Yes, you should. And then you would have them a day early as well.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
You can start playing. You'll be able to, if they release on Thursday here, you can be able to play them like late morning Wednesday.
Nice. All right. I have two timeouts. One of these I was initially going to share on the show a couple of weeks ago, but I just dropped from the show because I wasn't feeling well. And here we are. I'm feeling good today. So my timeout from the previous show was a board game called Ticket to Ride Legacy Legends of the West. If you've played Ticket to Ride, it is a game about completing routes between cities and building long train routes and scoring points by completing train routes on ticket cards you get. This is a legacy version of the game, which means that at the start of the game, let me back up. Legacy versions of the games are games where decisions that you make in each game affects the rest of the games you play.
Oh, okay.
There is a storyline with these that does not exist in the base game. And you spend your entire, for this game, I want to say there are 10 or 12 games that you play in the storyline. And then after that, you kind of have your own personalized copy of Ticket to Ride that you can play the regular way, or you can play it with some of the extra rules that are introduced. Legacy games also involve doing things like destroying parts of the game and not using them anymore after certain events happen. The first one of these was Risk Legacy, which, if you are a fan of Risk or games like that, you owe it to yourself to track down a copy of Risk Legacy and play it. It's what got me hooked on Legacy games. So far, there's been Risk Legacy, Pandemic Legacy, Betrayal at House on the Hill Legacy, and Ticket to Ride, and a couple others. We have had a blast with this. You, in this game, you assume a role as a startup railroad company, and you're trying to assert dominance across the United States, but you only have like the Eastern Seaboard and part of the Midwest. And as you go, you add a different part of the United States. Each time I've done, and you have individual goals and have different things going on. Like this past game, I had a goal card to rescue a bear and sell it to the circus by transporting it on my trains from building a route from one place to the other. There's been a ghost train. There's just been all kinds of other really cool stuff. Highly, highly recommend this game. Ideally, you want to get it and play it with a set group. Like, we're playing it with another couple that we're friends with. And so there's 4 of us and we're invested now. We're like 6 or 7 games in. So I think we've got, 3 or 4 games left. And what's really cool is that we don't really know where we stand as far as who's winning and who doesn't, because each game you take a voucher at the end of it, you total up your points and your earnings, and you drop it in a box that is branded for your railroad company, and you drop it in the vault. And at the end of the game, we're going to open our vaults up and count up all our points and see who ultimately won. So just a really cool thing. I got it for Christmas. So we've been playing it since December. Games take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on rules and things. And as you go, I mean, you're even adding stickers to the rule book, which are new rules that get revealed throughout the game. So definitely something you should check out if you're into board games or you like Ticket to Ride. It's worth it. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, my other timeout, and is, Jesse, do I have permission to share my screen on this?
You should. If you don't,
for our video viewers, I want to tell you guys about something I did this past week called the Epic McKay's Road Trip. I don't know if you can see this map. I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I've got the full screen.
There we go. So I'm gonna try to blow it up there. So on Monday, my wife and I and another couple left to go on this 570-mile road trip. We left our home. We drove over to Mebane, North Carolina, which I thought it was Mebane, but it is not. It is Mebane, North Carolina. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, McKay's is a big glorified warehouse pawn shop.
Oh.
They started out as a used bookstore, but they've since begun taking records, DVDs, video games, Funko Pops, used toys, musical instruments, consoles, all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
So this year is their 50th birthday, and for their 50th birthday, they planned this Ultimate McKay's Road Trip, where if you visited,
okay,
if you visited all 5 of these locations in one day,
that's right,
you would get some awesome prizes. So starting in Mebane, which is here in the east, we thought, let's go over there on Monday, stay the night, and then we'll make our way back on Tuesday, and we'll gain an hour, right? Because again, 570 miles, that's a lot of driving.
Yes.
From Mebane to Winston-Salem, it's about an hour. From Winston-Salem to Knoxville, it's about 4.5 hours. From Knoxville to Chattanooga, it's about an hour and a half. And Chattanooga to Nashville, it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on how you drive.
All right.
The prizes for this were, like, at each place you were supposed to have this passport and get it stamped. And then you would get different things. At the first one, you just got the stamp. Second location you visited, you would get a stamp and a poster. or maybe it was a t-shirt. The third location was a poster or t-shirt. I can't remember. And $50 trade credit. At the fourth location that you went to, you got $250 in trade credit and a snack pack and a travel mug. And at the last location, if you made it through all of them, you got your final stamp and $500 additional dollars in trade credit. So
And
in
all those
all,
credits stack, so a total of 800,
yes,
right?
$800 total. I just want to say before I tell you what we went through those 2 days that nobody estimated correctly how many people would do this. All right. There is.
I saw the pictures.
McKay's has said we didn't know, we underestimated it. Everybody else has underestimated it. I thought we were being smart by going to Mebane first and coming back there. So did 6,000 other people.
Wow.
Or about, well, I would say probably 4,000.
Wow.
I want to show you a picture of Knoxville, which Knoxville at about 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the fire marshal shut that location down because 25 people had been carried to the hospital for heat stroke.
Oh, geez.
McKay's is next to another business. This is the view from the road in front of that other business. The line snaked through their entire parking lot and went into the McKay's parking lot to the left of it and snaked through that because the Mebane horde met the Nashville horde at Knoxville.
Oh boy.
So what happened is let me go back to this initial map. We went to Mebane, and there was probably roughly somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 people that showed up at this location. We got there. We thought it was supposed to start at 8. We thought we were playing it safe by leaving our hotel at 7.
Mm-hmm.
When we got there, the line on the interstate was out, like from the store was out onto the interstate and down on the side of the road. So we waited in line there for an hour. When I finally parked at the store, the line snaked back and forth through both sides of the parking lot and wrapped around the building twice before people could get their stamp.
Crazy.
We stayed there for 2.5 hours after I parked.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that we left was because the police came to shut it down and they just started handing out bookmarks with the stamp on them. At this time, like it's 11 o'clock Eastern time, or 11:30, and they just tell us, we've been given clearance to tell you skip Winston-Salem, go directly to Knoxville. So we're like, okay, that's a 5.5 hour drive. Whatever, we'll get some lunch, we'll move on. So we make it to Knoxville, and my wife had a friend who had gotten out of the two of those pretty quick and had gotten on to Knoxville. She was in line at Knoxville and had stood in line there for 3.5 hours before they kicked them out, shut it down, told them to go on to somewhere else and they would fix it because the fire marshal came in and shut it down. We had already made the decision at that point. We were okay getting $300 in credit. We were just going to do the 4 and skip Knoxville because she was telling us how crazy it was. We just ended up driving past Knoxville and going to Chattanooga. We were some of the first people there. Took about an hour. It was actually the first of those 5 stores that we even went in of that day.
Wow.
They stamped us for all 4 previous. So Chattanooga through Mebane, and they said, go to Nashville. You'll get your final,
wow.
your final $500. So we had to go that way anyway to get our friends home, to get us home. So we went to Nashville, got there at 9 o'clock at night. Now they were supposed to close at 10. They decided to extend their hours that day till 12, till midnight. At Nashville, we waited in line for an hour and a half. I'm talking about like a line that's constantly moving. So this tells you how many people were there.
Yeah.
Get our final stamp. And then they were like, did you get anything? Did you get a poster, a t-shirt? And we were like, no, we barely made it here. And so they're like, well, we'll give you $10 extra credit for all of those. So we ended up with $840 each. So my wife and I have $1,680 in store credits to use and it never expires. So
Wow.
guess where everybody's Christmas presents are coming from this year. But y'all, when I tell you that this was the most insane thing that I've ever seen, I don't do a whole lot of concerts, I don't do a whole lot of outdoor events like that, but it was like the polite zombie apocalypse. Like nobody was fighting, nobody was getting ill with each other, everybody was
Right.
pretty,
Just ill due to heat.
Right.
but man, I'm telling you what. And it
Yeah.
sucks too because I couldn't stand with at the Mebane location, wasn't a lot of shade. It's new. I could not stand with my group because I that day or the day before had gotten put on a medicine that for a short time that said don't go out in sunlight, like don't be
Mhm.
a prolonged exposure. So I'm like, there's this picture of me sitting next, like on the ground, leaned up against somebody's van with two people I don't even know. And there's just I mean, it's lines everywhere. I wish I could show you some more pictures. I was hunting for this, but I mean, that is some of the insanity. This is all like people are there and they're showing their hauls and stuff. But man, listen,
How many?
1,140 miles in 2 days.
I'm
I'm
going to use this
exhausted.
map in the image thumbnail,
Okay.
so
Well,
the
there you
audio
go.
listeners will be able to see
McKaybooks.com.
it if they have a
And
player compatible
there's
with
the
the image.
prizes. If anybody was thinking you were supposed to get, we didn't even get a passport. We got a sheet of paper
That's the
that
passport.
said passport. No, some people got like little books that had a picture of the store
Yeah.
and when it was founded and where it's at and a fact about it. We didn't get any of that. And of course, people are already they're already selling all this online.
Of course
Of
they are.
course.
Like, yeah, they're selling their credit, they're selling their thing. The good thing is if you miss this and you're local to these stores, you can do the road trip through the rest of the year. You just, if they have any leftover stuff, which they say they're getting more cups and things, if you go to the stores, if you go to can prove you went to all five, they will give you $50 in trade credit and they'll give you all the swag. So if
Nice.
you missed it, um, don't have to completely miss out. But like I said, that's what everybody's getting for Christmas is crap from McKay's, which is good because I mean they do have occasionally like the Nashville location for a while had um, a Super Nintendo complete and in the box.
Nice.
So I'm going to wait and I'm going to bide my time. And when I see it, if something like that comes back, it's mine. There was one
Nice.
post on there today.
Buy your Switch 2s from
Ooh, I might sell my trade credit. I don't know. There's a lady on there today that posted that she had gotten her grill or her grail from McKay's Nashville today. She had found somebody had traded in to because you go in. So the idea is take your items in. You either can get store credit or you can get cash. The cash
Mhm.
value is terrible,
Yeah.
but the she had gone to the Nashville McKay today and found the huge Lego Eiffel Tower set in the box, never opened.
Oh, wow.
She used her trade credit on it. I was like, yes,
Nice.
Wow.
yes, it was good. So, I mean, there is, it was a mess. Yeah, we survived on Bucky snacks, Cokes from the cooler, and Chick-fil-A on Tuesday, like one meal Chick-fil-A. Like we had breakfast at the hotel, got Chick-fil-A about 2 o'clock, and then at 10:30 that night, my wife was like, I'm gonna need to eat before
Yeah.
we get back to the house. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Good times out on the road.
Nice.
So yeah, that's my timeouts for
I
the
like that.
week.
That was a fun story.
Yeah, it was also like, pretty stressful during that time. But hey, I have the trade credit and we're gonna get some cool stuff. All right, that's our time out.
Awesome.
Let's talk about what we've been playing. All right, Jesse, what you been playing?
Okay, I actually have a few games this time. So I'll start with Picross S Plus. This will be the last time I talk about it because I finished it. 100% all puzzles.
You crazy.
3,335 puzzles.
You crazy.
Wow.
So the game gives me a time, adding up all the times of all the puzzles. That doesn't include, oh, I messed up, I have to restart this puzzle, because it just adds up the completion time of each puzzle. That was about 175 hours. If you include the fails and restarts, looking at the Switch profile time, it says over 235 hours.
Wow.
So that's how long it took me to 100% Picross S Plus.
That's a lot of puzzles.
You're the Hulk Hogan of Picross.
But you know it, brother.
That was spot on. I like it. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, do some Picross.
Yes.
Right. So my brain's still wanting to be in a puzzly mood. I played a little Stitch. They have weekly puzzles. If you start a weekly puzzle and don't finish it, it is still there for you to play. But if you don't start a weekly puzzle, you just lose access to that puzzle. So I finished the puzzle from week 1, and then I did that current week's puzzle, and then I did a few of the other puzzles. So there's still a lot of stuff to do with that game. But
I really hope that there are people who are playing this game. I feel like it's severely underrated. Like, I love this game. It is so relaxing, and it has a great aesthetic. It's pretty unique too. I mean, it's not Picross, but it kind of is. It's it's
not Picross, it's not Minesweeper, it's not Sudoku, but it scratches that puzzle itch.
Yeah, like, I feel like you have to do a lot more math and like calculating and sleuthing for Picross. That doesn't really, it's not my jam. But Stitch, I stay away from it, because if I ever open it, I do 10 before I quit.
Right. Yeah, so I was doing some of the larger puzzles. I think I was like doing a puzzle and it's just telling it to do the next one, which I think it just throws a random puzzle out of that from the available pool at me. So
yeah.
So it could be a small, medium, or large. So when I saw this game being played by Pro Jared, he does a lot of ROM hacks on his channel. It's called The Legend of Zelda Ancient Dungeon. So when I saw this, the first thing I said was, "Hey Marty, you might like this." Because it turns Zelda into a roguelike.
Yes.
Yeah. So you start in a dungeon entrance named Room 0. You have your wooden sword, and that's it. The goal is to get to room 255, where Zelda is. As you progress, you'll get power-ups, you'll beat bosses, you'll beat normal trash enemies. But every room is random. So I have had lousy luck with getting a good seed. Sometimes I'll get container hearts right away, but I still have green tunic and wooden sword. So I get through a Gleeok, I'm dead, because still if I have 5 or 6 hearts, 3 hits and I'm toast. I always have a hard. Gleeok is the enemy I had the most problem with. My best run, I got into like the room 70s or 80s. I got the white sword really early. Then I got the blue ring. Then I got the magic sword. So I was wrecking house. I got the rod, so I was able to shoot beams remotely, at a distance, even if I didn't have full hearts for the sword. But my problem was there is I was getting all these good weapons for a change, but I was getting no hearts. So I'm in the room 80, and I still have 3 hearts. I get into a room with a bunch of B hats, and with P hats and bubbles. So that's a bad combination because P hats are invincible and if they're moving, and a bubble will prevent you from attacking with your sword for a short time. So you're running around, and there's like 5 of each. So while hitting a bubble doesn't remove your hearts, it prevents you from attacking. So I'm relying on the rod, which does half the damage as my magic sword, and I have to still line up a shot with the P hat when it lands. So I ended up dying in that room. That was
yeah, I don't blame you.
I was upset. That was the furthest I've gotten in. I was like, at the end of the game, it tells you what room you're in, how long you were playing for, and then it shows you a list of all the collectibles. And if you received it, it's in color. If you didn't receive it, it's black and white. And then you start over, back at square one. I did watch Pro Jared do a run where he did finish the game. But I think it took him about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I don't remember exactly what it said. But the game's fun if you like the Zelda dungeons. But it can be frustrating if you don't get the drops.
Yeah.
Sounds like it would be fun, though.
Yeah. Then the last game is I started playing Final Fantasy V, the final game of the Pixel Remaster that I have never played before. I gave that a start, and I am at a stuck point, and I think I'm just done with it because the problem I have with job systems is what happened to me. So the game says I'm under 10 hours. I swore I played for longer than that because,
it felt like longer.
Well, walking through, I'm kind of following through a walkthrough just to judge where I am in the game. And it's like I'm close to 2/3 through. I'm like, the game is not a 15-hour game, is it? It might be, but of course I was also playing with 4 times XP, 4 times gil, 4 times job points. That probably helps.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was spreading out my jobs because I know that, the games like this normally throw a boss at you that requires like a specific job to do a specific thing, or else it's almost impossible. So I don't remember the name of this boss, but it basically is a warp gate that if you lose your points, you fall on your face like normal, but the warp gate will start sucking you toward it. And if you get revived, you stop moving forward. But if you fall again, you start moving forward towards it. You get close enough to it, the warp gate sends you into another dimension, meaning that character's out, can't come back. At least for that fight. No revive, no Phoenix down. And this is before, I've never played the game. I don't know how it ends, but my spells are still mediocre. Like the best cure spell is Cura, which is the second spell. So if I'm targeting, and my characters are like mid 40s in the level, almost 50. So casting Cura on one character heals like 500 points, which is a quarter of the full health. If I cast it on the whole party, it does about 200-ish to 250-ish per person, so 10%. So Cura isn't really lasting long. So the trick to this, apparently, is to use the blue mage to buff your sword as a sleep sword. You can put it to sleep. But my problem was, again, I was spreading out my jobs. The same character had white mage and blue mage powers. So it was also my healer. So, and then of course, if anyone else attacks it, it wakes up. So I pretty much had to make sure no one else attacked it, keeping it asleep while healing myself. I just couldn't keep up with it, and it was a pain. I would have to grind additional characters to have the blue mage ability to keep the thing asleep.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm done.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how far into the game I was. I think I'm about 2/3 in. But again, under 10 hours, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm done with that. And then so the game I have on deck, waiting for the Nintendo World Championships, is I'm going to start a new Dragon Quest VIII run on 3DS. It's been a while since I played that game.
Good deal. Tim, what have you been playing?
So few games since we've been away for 2 weeks. The first game I played was NeoSprint. It's the Atari sprint game, but recharged, if you will, like some of the previous games, although this one isn't called recharged. It's NeoSprint. It's a racing game, kind of like RC Pro-Am, where you're using a little car going on the track and you got to steer it to go around that track. And it's multiplayer. And we do have a video first look of it, or a let's play of it out there where I was playing it, showing off some of the things you can do, because there's also a track builder in it. So you can actually build a track and share it. And if I remember correctly, I wasn't sure how you share it because I couldn't figure out. I mean, I figured out how I could share it, but I didn't figure out how I could get other people's tracks. So there was nothing in the menus that kind of that gave me that. So I don't know if it's something I
You're
missed in the
you're just
verbiage.
feeding the regenerative AI.
Yeah, maybe I'm just feeding it to where we play it eventually. If you're playing online. But it's fun. It's definitely brings back those memories, even though I don't have the wheel like you do at the arcade where you just spin it like crazy or whatever. It's still a lot of fun to play, especially if you like those old type of racers in the arcade with the top down RC Pro-Am type thing where you got the little car on the track and then even making your own tracks. And it has got a 4-player co-op too, so it'd be fun to play locally. Uh, because of playing NeoSprint, I played Atari 50 some more. Because in Atari 50 they have, if you don't remember, that this is Atari's 50th anniversary collection of games, and they also have it to where it's kind of like a interactive documentary where you can play some of the games throughout Atari's history, learn about their history, some of the materials, you can watch videos. I really like how they do this, and the company that did it, I forget the name of the company at the moment. But they also did some of the games that Jesse and I reviewed for specific developers of games. It's the same company who did that, where you can kind of do the interactive documentary on it. But I went to Atari 50 to continue.
Digital Foundry, is that who it was?
No, Digital Foundry is no, it sounds close to that. Digital Foundry is the people online that show us videos.
Right.
But I think it's close to that name. I don't have the box near me. So, but yeah, again, I've been going back into it because I finished the first timeline, which talks about the history. Now I'm going into the timeline where it talks about the home consoles. So I'm enjoying my time again with that to kind of learn about past Atari games. Because that's what I started out playing with Atari. So it's kind of nostalgic for me as well. Speaking of something else,
Digital Eclipse.
Digital Eclipse, there you go.
I knew I was close.
Speaking of retro type games that are being brought back to life, I also played a game called Saturn DX, which I also have a first look out on for that game, or a let's play of that game out on our channel. We got the code early. The game doesn't release until July 18th, but we are asked to, take a look at it, play it, promote it on our socials, as well as, we can start talking about it after the 11th, which is today. So Saturn DX is the game I was playing, and it's similar to Robotron. If you remember Robotron 2084, I think is what it was called. It was an arcade classic where it's a twin stick shooter where you're just kind of blasting these things that are coming at you at the center of the screen. Very colorful. Um, what kind of graphics is that again? Jesse called again
Vector.
the vector graphics. Yes, thanks. Very colorful Robotron is, and Saturn DX is this kind of the same. Not necessarily vector graphics, but it's very colorful, very fast paced, definitely more today's type of pacing. And you can definitely, I think if I remember correctly, you can increase the difficulty if you want. But it's basically about getting the high scores. And I got the high score. I got in the top 10 when I was playing with whoever's been testing this game out. I did get to the top 10 after a few tries, and I'm really enjoying the game. And it's kind of like you get these buffs along the way. You lose them all. So I don't know if you would consider this like roguelike or not, but it's a twin stick shooter where you get these buffs along the way. You get new guns, new shields, and all that kind of stuff to help destroy these creatures that are trying to get your friends. And you guys, that's the other goal, is to try to save your friends. And it's been a lot of fun. So I'm going to continue playing it, probably share some more about it after the 18th when it releases, and probably have a full review video out after that as well. Another game I've been playing is Tavern Talk, is one we had to review. So there is a video out on that, which is again you're an innkeeper in a D&D world, D&D like world, where you are making drinks for characters that come into your inn.
So you're an NPC.
But I'm an NPC, yes. But the drinks also help the players get into get buffs for their abilities. So like their strengths, their strength, their wisdom, their charisma, their intelligence, and their defense. You can give them drinks that'll help them with those type of abilities to help them on their missions, and you get a story along the way with their stories, their individual stories, and then there's one overarching story. I'm in Act 2, Chapter 10, I believe. And so I'm not sure how many acts there are, but it's kind of like an interactive book in a way for me. So it's like I get to hear these stories, interact with these characters. I have choices I have to make, and some of those choices are the type of drinks I make for them to go on their missions. So it's been fun. So, and I think it's going to be on my top 10 for game of the year as well. That's how much I'm enjoying the game. So again, that's Tavern Talk, and just it's not anything fancy. It's just an interactive game, interactive narrative game. Another game I've been playing that I can't talk much about, but I can tell you is I've been playing Trinity Fusion. It comes out August 1st, and it's a roguelike action platformer that I will definitely have more to talk about after August 1st on that one. I did the Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope game trial because actually I own the game, but I decided, well, game trial's going on. I'll give that a try. And I'm
Get your 100 platinum points.
Yeah, I got the 100 platinum points too for that. So, but I'm actually enjoying my time with it. So I have no reference to the first game because actually I didn't play the first game yet either. So I have no reference to that and no opinions against.
That's
Sparks
probably a plus.
It is. So, with Sparks of Hope, that's definitely a plus.
I'm playing it, and I'm actually, like I said, I'm enjoying it.
Because if you play the original game, you probably end up like Marty and myself, where you didn't like what they did with the second game.
Right. That's why I was like, that's why I figured I'd do that. I figured, you know what? I've heard a lot of negative comparisons. Why not just hop into the Sparks of Hope and try it out? And it's fun. We'll see how far I continue it on. I got all these other games I'm trying to play. So we'll see. And the last one I've been playing is on the PlayStation, which is called V Rising. It's a vampire sim game.
That thing finally came out?
It finally came out. It's basically you're a vampire who had been asleep for many years, and you wake up having to reestablish yourself. And you start with nothing essentially, and you have to go through and build up for what you have by basically building a new castle. You're collecting resources and materials to craft, to build your castle and make your clothes and enhance your weapons, enhance your abilities. And then you go on these missions to go after V blood characters, I think, that you find that can, when you destroy them and drink their blood, you can then get more enhancements to yourself, which then later on you'll be able to turn people to work for you and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on in this game as far as, you know, the crafting goes and understanding the different systems in there. So I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to keep up with it because there's so much going on and so many details in the game. It's very fun, and I can see a lot of people having fun with this. And in fact, I think it's scored high in a lot of places. So again, that's V Rising for the PlayStation that I'm playing it on, and I believe it's out on PC as well, or it was there first actually before it got to PlayStation. But it's actually pretty fun. So those are the games I've been playing.
Cool. I've been playing one game. Haven't had much time. But Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Guys, it's really good.
Too many road trips.
Yeah, it's really good. And I'm disappointed that when I log on to my Nintendo Switch and I look at my friends list, it doesn't seem like anybody is playing this game. And that is very unfortunate because you're missing out. Maybe you've already played it on 3DS, but that should not stop you from trying this again. They have done a brilliant job porting it over. It looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. It plays fantastic. And it has Polterpup, which makes it even better. There's no reason for you not to play Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Especially too because they ported over the Scare Scraper mode, which is excellent multiplayer fun. I just don't
Maybe they're waiting for October, playing in
maybe
October.
So. Spooktober. I don't know. I don't understand why there's seems to just not. I know it's like been number one on the chart, so I guess people are playing it, but it's just not. I don't see a lot of our people playing it, and I want to encourage you to play Luigi's Mansion 2, especially if you've never played it before. It's a great bridge between 1 and 3, and like seeing how the abilities evolved and you know how the gameplay kind of changed from. And the thing is that Luigi's Mansion 2 Luigi's Mansion 1 and 3, I think it's one connected map. You're in the hotel or you're in the mansion. This is different mansions. This is different locations. Each one has a theme. The first one is your typical kind of spooky mansion. The second one is it's like a hotel where there's a giant tree growing up between both towers. So there's lots of plants and things that you've got to deal with. The puzzles are good. I just, come on. Get Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I think you'll be pleased. And yeah, play it on the big screen. Don't play it handheld. Play it on big screen. Because now you can. That's what I've been playing. Let's turn on the
before we move on, was one more game I forgot about that I remembered. It's a big commercial for Chili's, basically. But the website is chilisburgertime.com. So you do have to have a Chili's account to log in, but it's basically an updated version of Burger Time. The story is that, this new burger that Chili's put out, the smash burger, I think, is being sold, in a 3 for me deal for $11. And the big corporate fast food monopolies are not liking that they can make a burger so big at that price because it's putting them out of business. So this big boss fast food guy is throwing other fast food mascots, not real fast food mascots, but you can see the where they're based from. And that's that, and then you play a level where, excuse me, you have the normal foodie type of enemies, but then you have this mascot character running around, sometimes shooting projectiles and kind of not behaving the way a normal Burger Time enemy would behave. So you're going to have to watch out for that. My problem is you can't stop running in this game. Oh, and you are a pepper. Your character is a pepper. You're the pepper
chili
mascot.
Pepper. Okay.
Yeah. Because the original character was Peter Pepper.
Okay.
But you cannot stop running, which,
Okay.
The original, if you're familiar with the original arcade game or a home port, is you can stop running, wait for, like on a bun, wait for an enemy to get on said bun, and then you drop the bun with the enemy on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do that if you can't stop running.
Right.
So you're pretty much, so my strategy was just avoid everything, don't get hit.
Right.
Oh.
That's crazy.
So you beat, you beat up the first mascot. He sends another mascot onto you, stage 2. It goes up to stage 6 when the big boss comes out at you himself in a big mech. And like the first thing he did was like fire off 3 missiles, hits me. I lost, that was my last life. So I didn't get far. But this thing apparently has 8, when you're done with stage 6, the game repeats at a higher difficulty. Does this for 3 loops, 18 stages total. And you're able to get put on a scoreboard. Apparently, the top 3 scores at the end of the campaign will win an arcade cabinet with that game on it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And there's other prizes that they're giving away as well.
Nice.
So my game did not make the top 500. And I wasn't going to play another game. But
Chili's Burger Time, Game of the Year.
Yeah.
It's going to be in my top 10.
It's a top 10 web-based games, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
But so if y'all interested in giving it a try, it's free to play. You just need to have an account.
The sad thing about it is Chili's, which I like, closed down here.
Oh.
Yeah, so the nearest Chili's to me is like an hour and a half away. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Infrindo asks if they get to avoid the Noid. No, everything is a fast food burger place.
I no longer get to enjoy my beloved honey chipotle chicken crispers.
That is my wife's favorite item to get.
I love them. Well, let's turn on the community spotlight and finish up this mess, shall we?
All right, the community spotlight, where we like to shine the light on our community, like those who joined us during this live podcast recording, like Reed Diller over on YouTube, and then those of you on Twitch, like Just Being Bruce, Mecha Dragon 101, Ms. Ninfrendo, and Vic has been over there too. And then let's see, making sure I didn't miss anybody. I think I got everybody there.
Reed Dillard? Did you say him?
Yes, that was the first one I mentioned.
Okay.
Oh, and Mikey over there on YouTube as well. It's the ones on YouTube and Facebook and stuff that sometimes I miss. Quag was on there quite a lot earlier, and BB I think was on there earlier too. Beer.
Yeah, I remember seeing him.
So yeah, thank you all for stopping by, of course, and hanging out with us while we do our recording of our podcast. let's mention a few events and contests going on, and then we'll read your questions that we got this week and last week, actually, too. So gaming streams, follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for live Let's Plays and first looks. So make sure you turn on your notifications to be notified when we go live, especially like when we do Friday night NSOs or when we do Saturday night main events now, because we may have to change the schedule from Friday to Saturday. So that's every second Friday, usually, of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. But this month, we're going to be doing the second Saturday, where myself, Shannon, and Chris and Sam actually are going to be playing Four Swords on the NSO app. So come hang out with us. And I think Beer Cerveza is also going to come hang out with us and tag in whenever somebody needs a break. So it'll be a lot of fun. And even if you can't come and play, you can still come hang out with us in Discord, or maybe even tag in when necessary. If you're in our Discord community, or if you're just watching on stream, excuse me, you can watch there as well as we play. And don't forget, also, we have the table every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have our community event where we get together at the dinner table and discuss whatever is on everybody's mind. This month, on July 19th, all four dads will be hanging out and talking about our 10 years of podcasting. So now's your chance. If you're in our Discord again, you can come hang out with us there like we do every month, but this time you get all four dads. And who knows, maybe a special guest may pop in if they can. We'll see.
All four dads for the price of one plus $1.
Yes. And then don't forget about Monthly Mayhem, which is coming up on July 18th, where the Dads After Dark show announced June's Monthly Mayhem winners, but they also announced July's Monthly Mayhem for Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. So for the rules, again, hang out on our Discord, and you'll be able to find out those rules or listen to their podcast as well. So all of these things, you got to be in our Discord to be able to hang out. So how do you get into our Discord? You are either a Patreon or a Twitch subscriber, and you'll be able to get into our Discord. And if you can't, or you don't know how, just look up NeoPrime33 on Discord, hit me up in a DM, and we'll get you connected into our Discord. All right, that's all our events and contests going on. Let's go jump right into our questions. We got quite a few from the last couple weeks. So let's mix in a few questions, and then we'll mix in a few voicemails as well. So first off, let's start with questions from the emails. Russ G, this is one we forgot to read the last time, I think. So thoughts on if and what will be the Swan Song themed Switch for the current generation, not the light version. Will it be a Prime 4 launch theme or a 2025 Christmas Prime 4 bundle theme? Or maybe a Christmas 2025 Wind Waker or Twilight Princess bundle theme? All of the above or none of the above? As part of that,
with the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Right. As part of that, do you think there will be much, if any, overlap between Switch 1 and 2? Will Nintendo want the Switch 1 to be part of Christmas 2025 sales to clear out inventory of old parts and stock, or will it solely be Switch 2? So a lot going on there. What's going to be the theme for the Switch, the final Switch? If there's going to be any final themes, what's the final theme going to be? And then is there going to be any overlap when Switch 2 comes out in 2025?
So the theme for that final holiday is going to be a Mark II Switch with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and 3 months of NSO. I promise you, they have an entire full warehouse of those things.
What is the
sitting there.
The sixth time?
Right.
If any change comes to that, it will be an OLED bundled with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Maybe they'll give you the expansion pass as well and 3 months of NSO.
And I read somewhere too that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart 8 altogether has sold more than NES.
Saw that.
Systems.
So
that's
sure
good.
has.
Another random piece of trivia. So back in March, I made a comment saying that the Switch is the longest living Nintendo console in North America. It is. It's now, in terms of non-handhelds or portable exclusives, it beat out the Famicom, which had almost a 10-year life cycle. Or it was like, well, between Famicom and Super Famicom launch, so it was between 83 and 90. The Switch is now longer than that. So
That's
I think
crazy.
the only system left is like the Game Boy era, which was like almost 12 years.
Yep, that's what Mecha Dragon was just saying as well too. So it looks like, but I would love it if the last themed Switch is Prime 4, even if it's not the last one. I still want a Prime themed Switch. That will be my last Switch OG or Switch regular.
Yeah, I can see
for sure.
I can see a Prime 4 themed OLED.
Yep.
Oh yeah, if they did it for Zelda, they're going to do it for Prime.
I hope so,
well,
because that's what I've been holding out.
In a way, they kind of did it for
ones.
Dread, like
with the white controllers,
just with the white Joy-Con,
right?
Well,
even though
very well,
they didn't outright say it, but they did it.
It looked like an Emmy. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
I would
just needed a red light on the back, a circular red light.
I did not buy the Zelda themed one. I did not buy the Mario themed one, even those are my favorite colors, black and red. Because I'm holding out for a Prime themed one.
Holding out for a hero.
So, all right. Do you guys think there's?
If I could read the text on the smaller screen, I would have also pre-ordered the Zelda Lite, but there's no point in me buying that other than to keep it on a shelf.
Yeah, that's true.
So, not buying that.
Do you guys think there's going to be overlap? And I think we all know the answer to that between the 1 and 2 sales.
Oh yeah, they're going to keep.
They always
one
have
going.
Overlap.
Yeah, well, other than Wii U, but
true.
As long as Switch ones will sell,
if they can help it,
still make them.
Yeah. If they can help it, there's always overlap.
It'll have.
Always
I think
another pillar.
I think it'll have a tail of at least 2 years past successor's launch, where they're going to keep it manufactured and in stock.
Right.
It's a long tail.
That is. All right. Next email is from Nathan. On the big screen, movie sequels tend to disappoint. However, the best video games build upon the framework from the original game and improve specific gameplay elements, tighter controls, graphical improvements, and other additions not found in the first in its series. Some iconic titles include Super Mario Galaxy 2, Mega Man 2, Mass Effect 2, Uncharted 2, Street Fighter 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Borderlands 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Arkham City. Of these titles, or perhaps others, which video game had the largest jump in quality from their predecessors?
And I do appreciate the proper use of the Roman numerals with Street Fighter.
Yes.
And not just blindly throwing the digit 2 everywhere.
Yeah, so the first game that came to mind for me was Mortal Kombat 2, which was a vast improvement on Mortal Kombat in almost every way, from visuals to sound to character selection. I mean,
just
you think about
this it seems to be more frames per second. It seems to be a smoother play, where MK1 got pretty choppy at times.
It did, and it did that while successfully building on the mythos and adding, stuff that people wanted to see, collectibles or secrets to find.
Yeah.
It was just
before the storyline got so convoluted it needed to have been rebounced twice.
That's right. And to me, it's my favorite Mortal Kombat game. But the other game that came to mind,
I'd agree with that,
when I thought about this, was Halo 2. Halo took a great formula from Halo 1 and made it almost perfect. It was the quintessential online game for consoles back in the day. We played hours of Halo 2 on Xbox Live. It was still, to this day, some of the best, most fun online games that we've had. So I think those two stick out for me.
I think of when I think of the sequels, I think of a lot of the NES era sequels
Yes,
that
yes.
tried to deviate, and then they backtracked in their third game.
Yes.
Zelda, Castlevania,
Hmm.
Mario.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the biggest console sequel, even though it's not necessarily a two, is Super Metroid. I think is a
Mm.
big leap from the console version of Metroid to Super Metroid on the Super NES.
Yeah, technically it is the third game, but really the second game was
Right.
on Game Boy. You kind of
That's
can
why I
shove
kept
that
saying console version.
sweep that aside.
Yeah. So even though it doesn't have two in the title or two in its timeline, I count that as a jump there. All right, great question.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
yeah. I was trying to think I would say if you ignore Dragon Quest two, but the jump between one and three, just because the two was kind of had a weird gameplay. But but at least it tried to do new things with two. Like Dragon Quest one, you were a solo party and you were always 1-on-1 against your opponent. With two, they added more party members, and you can come be attacked by more than one monster at a time. So you kind of had to prioritize, prioritize where your targets are. And then three was just probably, again, probably the best of the trilogy, just expanding more on what it one and two started. And again, we're going to get an HD 2D remake of that later this year. Looking forward to it.
yes. All right, let's play one of our voicemails.
This is Little Cooper Kid Jr. It's my dad's birthday in 2 weeks. What video game related item should I get him? See you.
Wow. What video game should we have him get Koopa Kid, his dad?
No, video game
Well,
related item.
Oh, video game related item. Okay.
I think
find
you
one of
should.
those backpacks.
Yeah, there you go. Loungefly backpack.
I think that it needs to be something Lego related. Lego, Mario, something like the Piranha Plant.
Yeah,
It's
there you
not
go.
too expensive, but it's not too fiddly like the Lego play sets, but it's something iconic he can display, remind
Yeah.
himself of that birthday.
Yeah, we don't know what your budget is, so you probably wouldn't be able to go with a Bowser.
Right.
Although if you did want to get him a Bowser, that Bowser one in the car is pretty
That is
pretty
kind of
good.
cool. Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Great question.
Hmm.
All right, let's jump into a few more questions. This time on the Discord side. No, a question from Darth Platypus. We have a game where you play as Peach, and they've announced a game where you play as Zelda. Which princess should be the next to get a game? I got one.
I got one.
I'm still thinking, but you guys go ahead. I'm checking something to see if what I'm thinking really is a game.
Go ahead, Tim.
You know how bad I want a Mario type football game, like American football game? Well, instead of Mario, I want Princess Daisy flag football because she's athletic. All right.
Yeah,
That's what she would do is she would do that, and it would be a roguelike game. It has elements you lose after each season and elements you get to keep. And each season is a run in that roguelike game. You lose players if you lose in a losing season. You keep certain players if signed, easier if winning. And it's a card system as well in that roguelite where you get certain power-ups that may or may not be flower based since Daisy uses flower type powers. And each of the four kingdoms represents a division in Sarasa land.
Okay.
So the Oceanic, Muda, the Easter Island based Easton, the ancient Egyptian styled Barabuto, if I pronounce that right, and the ancient China based Chai. Each of those would be a division for the football teams, and there will be multiple teams on each of those. And the objective is Tatanga is the main villain again, but they are the commissioner of the league trying to become famous to take over the kingdoms.
You put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah, you have.
That's my next princess game.
All right, so my joke answer is a sequel to Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom.
Nice.
But yeah, I kind of did a quick Google search of Nintendo princesses, and there actually isn't very many. So I'm thinking, a Rosalina game
Nice.
of some sort. Again, I haven't put that much thought into it like you have. So I'm not going to come up with a genre, but just there we go.
Princess Rosalina, got it. All right, Marty, what you got?
I have two.
Okay.
The first is a looter shooter with Palutena, where she goes out during the day shooting up bad guys, collecting ingredients to bring them back by night to run her speakeasy,
Nice.
where she engages in conversations with Dark Pit, Hades, and other people, revealing her backstory.
All right.
The other idea that I have is deep cut here.
Okay.
From Captain and the Game Master, Princess Lana.
Oh boy, yeah.
In a 2D platformer to rescue Kevin from all of the evil forces of Videoland.
Nice.
With 80s style music and pixelated graphics, including the help of her trusty companion, Game Boy.
That's a good idea.
Okay. I like it.
Make it now, Nintendo. Make
so,
it so.
So that Google search for Mario Princesses, just brought out a few, the ones you'd expect. Though it includes Pauline. It includes Blaze, the cat. I'm like, okay. I didn't think that was
I didn't know that.
Been a weird one. Okay, and the one that caught me the most off guard is an antagonist of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Elder Princess Shroob.
Yes. Yes.
So bring her back, I guess.
That's great. Wow, that was a good question, Darth. I like that one. So, all right. Beer Cerveza asks, what is your must-have 4th of July meal?
I didn't do anything this 4th of July besides staying home and hoping that nothing hits my house.
Oh yeah, because y'all had bad weather, didn't you?
Actually, that day was pretty good for us, but my wife's out of town. I think my son was getting ready to go out of town himself, so I was like home alone for half a week.
I think that most 4th of Julys that I've been alive, we've had some form of barbecue. So I would say barbecue or hot dogs. A lot of times since I've gotten married, it's been the family that her family was really good friends with when she was growing up would do a whole hog barbecue that would last overnight. From July 3rd into the 4th. So all the men would sit up and, with the hog and barbecue and talk and hang out. And at some point during the night, you would get ribs because it was time for those to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would, the take the rest and pull it the next day. So I think now it's my father-in-law does barbecue in his electric smoker, and barbecue pulled pork and chicken legs, smoked chicken legs. Those are
Nice. That sounds delicious.
yes,
I
it
agree.
is.
Barbecue is definitely on that menu for 4th of July meal.
Mm.
Beer also asks, what is your percentage of docked versus handheld usage for your Switch? I'd say 90% of the time I play in handheld mode. What's your preference? Is it the same for the other Switch players in your household? If you are mainly a docked player, or do you want the next version of the Switch to have handheld option or hope for a more powerful TV-only console?
Now it's 85% docked. Or a handheld. Sorry, I very rarely play docked mode because I have a Nitro deck. So even though the new Nitro deck Plus does have the ability to play docked and make with the output cable, yeah, I'm still handheld mostly.
Yeah, I'm about like 99% docked, either at my desk, or at my computer through OBS, or at my big TV behind me in my office. And my son, I think, is pretty much all docked, and he plays again at his desk through OBS, play watching on his playing on his monitor, the same way I do.
Nice. You ever find any problem with lag on some games though with OBS?
Not with the HD60S. That seems to be pretty lag free.
Okay.
I tried the similar setup with what's this one? This is crap. 4K 60S Plus. So that's
Okay.
the first 4K one from
Yeah.
Elgato. That
Yeah.
one does have lag. Going through OBS, but they do have a second output that's supposed to be a pass through lagless, but I don't have
Right.
that. The whole point is I want to react. I want to record my reaction at the same time the gameplay is being played on the screen. So that kind of doesn't help. And then I did have their latest version, the 4KX. Have not tested it yet. I've not ever used this yet, so I don't know how well it works. When I finally get around to building a new PC, I'll put this in place and see how it works.
Nice.
Because I am expecting, I'm hoping Switch Tester does something more than 1080p. So I would want the better capture card for it, and we'll see how laggy or not it is.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, and I am probably 90% handheld as well, maybe even more than that. But I would not want them to make a dedicated handheld or a dedicated home console. I like having that option of being able to dock it when I want to, like especially when I do videos or when I want to play in the TV in the living room or play in the room with just in handheld mode. So I like having that ability, even though I may not use it all the time. I like it like that, and I hope they stick with the hybrid for a while. So great question, Beer. And Zablock asks, as 40-something gamers and also content creators in the wider community, what would you say is the biggest difference in terms of gaming habits between you and younger, clearly inferior 20-somethings?
I know. I would say, like, between my son and myself, is he has a hell of a lot more time than I do to game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he gets hour breaks at his work, and he lives close enough he can come home, and he'll grab lunch. He'll sit at his desk, eat lunch, either watch anime or play games for like 40 minutes, and then go back to work. Where I'm normally, if I'm eating lunch at my desk, I'm normally still working.
Yeah.
So And and he's
Yeah.
able to play. He's able to play longer sessions than I am. Like he'll play until 5 in the morning if he doesn't have to work the next day. Where I'm normally, if I play for 2 hours, I'm gonna have to stop and take a break, unless it's a Zelda or some game I'm really sucked into.
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference for me is online gaming. Like I look at my son and his friends, and the only thing that they're playing with any regularity is online games. He is totally sucked right now into Rainbow Six Siege, and Risk of Rain 2.
Mhm.
They add Fortnite to that as well. He got his Switch out for Paper Mario when it came out and played it, but I don't think he's finished it. But up to that, he had not really played his Switch a lot. He had been on his PC, and I'd say that's his main gaming experience now is his PC. So, um, you know, right? It's just that's I would much rather play a single player game experience and have it be self-contained, and I don't have to depend on anybody being online or my performance as part of a
Right.
team online. That's all he wants to do is play those games and yell at each other.
Yep. Yep. That's what my kids do too. They like playing online games. It's more social that way, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't play them enough myself to be able to be as good as them in some cases, like with Fortnite. So, but I don't know. It's yeah. As far as that goes, gaming habits, yeah, definitely they have more time. It seems like. Yeah. Good question. All right. Let's go to Miss Koopa Kids voicemail, please.
Hi, this is Mrs. Koopa Kid 80. I was curious if you all play video games with your significant others, and if so, what do you play? Thank you.
Great question.
I would love to have a significant other who enjoyed playing video games.
Come on, you do.
She
Come
does,
on.
yeah, Lego games.
Yeah, Lego
Lego
games.
games.
Yep.
She looked at me the other day, and I was talking to somebody about something about Mario Party, and she looked at me and she said, "I hate Mario Party. I hate it." I was like, I died a little inside. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife. Well, she doesn't. She doesn't hardly play games anymore either. We met playing EverQuest. She still plays EverQuest from time to time. We played. We played when we got married. We still continued to play, but then I dropped out of the game. In fact, twice. I did get back into it and then fell out of it again. So she said she has told me she misses playing with me online, uh, but yeah, I'm just fed up with that game.
Yeah.
I think I put like 12 years into that game. Uh,
Gotta find
I
a new
think
one to play together.
yeah, we've tried a few other games, but she hasn't found one we both like. Uh, we I think she's only played a Switch game where she uses a Joy-Con or a controller once. We played Mario Kart with a few people, with members of the family.
Yeah.
Uh, and she didn't really care for it. She's played jackpot games with me a few times, but that's platform agnostic. She's not using a controller, she's using her phone, so I don't know if that
Yeah.
really counts. uh, but yeah, she other than that, I don't think she's ever touched a Switch.
Got it. Yep. Well, Animal Crossing was the big one for me and my wife for a while there, along with the other family members every now and then. But then after the kids would go to bed, we'd still be playing and being goofy in there and stuff like that. So that was a big one where we played a lot together. More recently, she's been playing a lot of Stardew Valley and played a little bit with our daughter. And I just picked up Stardew Valley to try to jump in as well. So with the multiplayer, but haven't had a chance to yet. So because I don't think she's playing it as much. But yeah, we haven't quite found that game that kind of connected us the same way as Animal Crossing did. Maybe when the next Animal Crossing comes out, who knows? Maybe that'll be it. I even tried convincing her to let's play Baldur's Gate together since you can do that couch co-op on the PlayStation, which I thought was pretty cool. So those are, yeah, and then we've done like monkey ball type games or Mario Party stuff as a family, but just where it's her and I, it's last thing was probably Animal Crossing on the Switch. Great question, Mrs. Koopa Kid 80. All right, we got a few more questions to get through. I know we're all getting tired here. It's been a long day for us, but we got a few more to get through and we'll be done. Bosab asks, as dads of a certain age and as our fellow Nintendo heads progress in years, what is our duty legacy to society? Maybe not in a national global sense, but more so local and in our day-to-day interactions. We as individuals and niche groups debate and research on the daily, but how do we impart our passion for good to the common man? Just some existential stuff to consider if you'd like. That was a question from Bosab.
I have a hard enough time making my kids use proper punctuation in texts. So I don't think I'm qualified to answer this question.
What, you don't have a duty to or legacy to society or even local? You know,
I've tried
knowledge
and
to
it
impart?
failed.
Marty does this for us on our behalf through what he does.
Well, that's his career.
I mean, I think that, I mean, I'm not good at thinking like this, especially this late at night, but I do think that I think that the struggle is for people who are part of fandoms like we are. The idea is that that is our safe space, right? And we tend to group up there, or we tend to hide there. But the reality is that there's a lot of us who are in part of these various, as he said, like Nintendo heads, as part of the video gaming fandom or geek fandoms in general, who have a lot to offer to our communities. And I think that that's one way we can do that is if we have children. I think we have an obligation to instill skills and things in them that it's not just like get them through 18 years and then get out of here. You know, you want to raise decent human beings, right? But more than that, I mean, find a way to make a difference in your community, whether that's, and not like you say, make a difference in your community. Well, sounds like running for
what you
office.
said reminded me of a joke my wife said to her daughter. That is not a conversation for the show. I might say it in the post show.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean like running for office, like it's for the good of the blah blah blah. That's not what I'm talking about. But like, where can you, like, for me, it's been where can I take what I love, which is video gaming, where can I take that and parlay that into social good, extra life? That's a great example. You can make a
Yes.
difference there. I'd like to think that doing that over the last 5 years has part of what inspired my son to do that and want to do extra life as well. And now he's making a difference that way. So it's going to be interesting to see this year, student life, or not student life, this year, extra life, will be interesting because I'm here now, in my own house. So I don't know. Those are just some thoughts that I have after that question. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
To be honest, it's not something I thought about like in that regard. So like the only thing I could think of is my own faith, but I also try to be careful that, not everybody wants to hear that. And I don't want to push people away from that type of thing either, because I'm talking about my own faith. So, I mean, that's part of the duty that I think about too sometimes. But as a gamer or somebody in our community as a Discord manager, I think of things of, in that regard. But I don't think of it as that deep in these type of things, like duty and legacies to society. I don't know. It's a good question though. Something that Reed, you'll have to bring up if you come back to a dinner table. That would be a good one to talk about.
Yeah.
So, all right, but that excellent question. Thanks, Reed, for that. And Shars no more. Scars no more. Excuse me. I thought that was an H. See, it's getting late. Scars no more says, what are the odds that we get the successor to the Switch released at the end of the year, November, December, for the 2025? I can see Nintendo giving us Metroid Prime 4 as the big summer blockbuster, tied everyone off. Then we get the next big thing at the end of the year.
I hope not.
Yeah, I think it's likely, but I hope not. I'd like to see it earlier. I'd like to see a launch earlier in the year for the fans, and then their second launch during the holiday season for the holiday season.
Yes.
If when we see both groups of people trying to buy from the same limited inventory, we see bad things happen.
Well, they've said a lot about wanting to stop scalping this time, and I think that means that probably what's happening is these things are already being produced, and they're just rampant. They're
just stockpiling, and
they're stockpiling so that when it finally does launch, which I think will be around the beginning of summer, late spring, possibly. But based on timing, like if it's got to be revealed by the end of fiscal year, then that puts the timing kind of. I think they're going to try to launch with the same timing as they did with the Switch.
I'd like to see a 2 to 3 months between announcement and release, like they did with the Switch. If it's more than that, we're like, I want this now. I want this now. There's 6 months of this.
It seems like they had a great pattern with the original Switch launch, and why try to mess with that? So that's why I think we all feel like hopefully a similar pattern would make sense. And also with the stockpile thing, I think one thing that crossed my mind with all this stuff that, Walmart and all those places have been reporting that, oh, Nintendo's making us stop selling these online. You have to come in and get it or whatever. I wonder if that's a testing ground with these games for the Switch 2, for telling these companies, hey, if you're not going to, other than what we found out from GameStop saying that they were, it sounded like more of they weren't respecting the street dates, and that's why they told them they couldn't do it anymore. But maybe it's also a test bed for how are they going to handle Switch 2s when it comes to pre-orders or ordering those either online or in-store pickups or whatever. Yeah. So it's a possibility there too. But I agree. I hope that there was a good pattern that we saw that worked out for them, which was released to us fans earlier in the year, then do another push in the holidays later in the year once you've got all those fans out of the way. All right. Mecha Dragon asks, in honor of 7-Eleven today, Daz, tell us your favorite slushy flavor.
Blue.
Yeah,
they all taste the same. It's blue.
I went to a 7-Eleven last week to see what flavors they had, and really none of them sounded good to me. So when I showed up today to get my free one, I just got the Coca-Cola flavor. Figured that was probably the safest flavor to get.
That brings up a good point, that they do make a Coca-Cola flavor, and it is pretty good. And it's pretty close to Coke. But like, you got to understand, like, we didn't have 7-Elevens in Tennessee growing up. And I've never, like, as an adult, went, I really want a Slurpee or a slushy, you know?
Mhm.
So now that they're closer or there's stuff like that closer, like there's a gas station that's about 20 minutes from our house that we pass by often, and it has an entire like wall. There's like 8 or 9 different slushies, right? That you can get.
Yeah.
And so we had, though, every redneck backwoods gas station growing up in my neck of the woods had Slush Puppy. Did you
Mhm.
guys have
Yeah.
Slush Puppy?
Yes.
I remember seeing them.
It is a forgotten
Yeah. We
thing
had them
of the
here in
80s.
Detroit too, beer. So not just Southern. We had
But
them here in
I'm
Detroit.
telling you, we had the Slush Puppy, and you would walk in, and your dad's in there, and right across from where you could gamble until they banned it, you know, then like slot machines and or whatever that they eventually banned. There's the Slush Puppy machine, and it's just, I don't know how they got the ice the way it is, but it was just like little bullets of ice
Right?
soaked in Kool-Aid. That's the
Yeah.
best way I know to describe it. They had the pump, you know, the thing that they would pump it in there, and if the guy liked you, you would get extra pumps of the syrup, you know, and all of it tasted the same, and all of it turned your poop different colors. You get a blue slush puppy, you're pooping green for the next 2 days. You
That's
get
a
a
not a bug, it's a feature.
you get a grape slush puppy, you think that you're having some kind of rectal disease. It's, you know, it's not good. And they weren't good. Slush puppies were not good.
No,
But
that's
I would beg for them every time we go to
we
the store.
we didn't have the problem with 7-Elevens in my neighborhood in Detroit. We did have one 7-Eleven and we did have one party store. So we had a choice of a slush puppy and a Slurpee. I always preferred the Slurpee for sure.
For for the people who haven't had one, here's the best description of it I can get you. It was like a drinkable snow cone. That kind of ice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like a drink, and it still not good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there are other 7-Elevens in my area. The one near me is only like 2 miles away from me, but it's kind of a hole, and like they had two machines of 4 flavors each. So they only had like 8 different flavors available.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
One of
like
which I think was a Mountain Dew, so there's Justin's flavor.
here we go. I think I found this. I wanted to see if I could share the screen for the people who are watching and show you.
Yeah.
This is a vintage slush puppy machine
Oh
right
boy.
here. Okay, that is, you'd have like 6 different flavors there, and it's like
That's
basic,
fantastic.
And of course
grape,
they're so high
cherry.
and your kid's 2.5 feet tall, so they're just spurting themselves in the face.
Oh no, you
Squirting
didn't
them in your
make
mouth.
this. You didn't make this for yourself. No, the
Oh,
the
okay.
the convicted felon behind the counter that's taking your money would make your child a slush puppy.
Beer Bear
Uh,
says that he where he grew up, he pumped it. The customer pumped it himself.
no way. Because I'd have tore up a slush puppy like that. I would just, like, son, did you put any ice in there? Nope.
Yeah, it would have been take the pump off and just pour the
Right?
right on the ice.
Why even bother with ice at that point?
Right. That's funny.
Just, just drink the syrup. You'd be like,
Ugh.
you would probably hallucinate for a week after that.
Yeah. All right.
Good question though.
Just Being Bruce asked, do you, and that's Star Wars Dad's Bruce, by the way. Do you dads think Nintendo World Championships NES Edition Deluxe physical set will sell out? And I think we answered that during the earlier part of the show.
I thought so at one time, but then
Yeah.
my Walmart having that whole, you know, space for them. I don't know.
Getting it ready for the holidays.
Oh, that'll probably be a game that will be in stock for a while.
So the Nintendo World Championship Deluxe Edition is available for pre-order right now on Best Buy. So, it did sell out for a little bit, but now it's
They got
back.
the fans out of the way, and now they're getting everybody else to get their copy.
Yeah,
Again,
I think you'll probably. I'm not going to say like it's going to be like widely available, like you can just go down the store and buy it. I think there's going to be a pretty good supply of them.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's listen to the last voicemail from actually Just Being Bruce.
Good evening, gentlemen. Just Being Bruce here from Star Wars Dads. Hope you're all well. I have a little pet peeve from your website, nintendodads.org. Every time I try to go into your website, at the bottom, there's a cookies tab, and every time I click the cookies, I never get my cookies. I always accept all, but I never get my cookies. When am I going to get my cookies? Please send me the cookies. I guess I'll have to get the snack dad into this. Good night.
That's the best voicemail I've ever heard.
That is, we will have to take that up to our website vendor and
Website management team.
Yes, and let them know that that Bruce is not getting his cookies, and he needs his cookies, and we must send his
says
cookies.
Homeboy sounds like an AI.
Right. No, that's awesome. Love it. Thanks, Bruce. And speaking of Star Wars dads, the next question comes from Star Wars dads. Do you guys think that we'll see Star Wars Outlaws on the new Nintendo Switch Ultra? Meaning the next Switch.
Plus Ultra. I think it's possible.
I think anything is possible nowadays with the way things have been going.
Anything is possible at ZomboCon. The infinite is finite at ZomboCon.
What?
We're going to get Star Wars Outlaws, a version of that will work on Switch 2. And then we'll also get a re-release pack of the Jedi games. Jedi Survivor. Yeah, and Jedi Order. Yep. We're going to get a package of those.
Jesse, since you don't know what I'm talking about, later on after this recording, go to the website zombo.com.
I'm afraid.
ZOMBO.com.
And the last question comes from David Bullicka, who is
Mr. Koopa Kid.
Mr. Koopa Kid. I know it might be blasphemous to say this, but do the Nintendo dads think there's a chance that the new Astrobot game for PS5 can be better than Mario Odyssey? I love the preloaded experience that came with the PS5, and the trailer for the full game coming in September looks like chef's kiss amazing.
Not better, but as good. Yes.
I think it's on par.
I'd agree with that. I know I never finished the Astrobot game that came prepackaged with the PS5.
Jesse, you need to, because the entire final part of it is one giant Easter egg. You definitely owe it to yourself to go check it out.
Jesse has a mission for the next show.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
All right. Those are the questions through the community. Thanks again for sending those questions, and we always look forward to them, and I hope you look forward to hearing those answers. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. And it's time to close out the show. So as we do that, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, RJ Kern, Solo Something, as well as our 100 plus other patrons. You guys keep the lights on over here, and we are super thankful for you. Also, huge thanks to our 14 Twitch Prime subscribers and over 1,450 Twitch followers. And a shout out to our almost 7,600 YouTube subscribers. All we're basically saying is we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. And so we're super, super thankful for you. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. You can check out our website, as Bruce has already talked about, at nintendodads.org. You won't get any cookies, but you will find Spotify podcast feeds for all of our shows, including the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts like Star Wars Dads, Dads After Dark, and Retro Logic, and their whole family of podcasts as well. You can find our latest YouTube videos, our tweets, links to all of our social media, Patreon, Extra Life pages, and Nintendo Dads merch, including our upcoming 500th episode shirt design. You can get it on everything, literally, even underwear. Nobody's done it yet, but if you do, just let us know. Don't send pictures. Tell us. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors like Manscaped.com, where you can get 20% off great products and free shipping with every order by using the code NINDADS, and factormeals.com, where for 50% off your first order, use the code NINDADS50. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And reminder, wherever you download us or catch us in your podcast app of choice, please leave us a positive review. 5 stars are great. Write some words, help people find us, share us with your friends, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. It helps us out a lot. Just lets people know about the show and gets more people over here. This has been episode 486 for me, for Tim, and Jesse. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
If this is your jam, you are